Good morning, or sorry, good afternoon on World Card Making Day. I'm going to try this again. I was having trouble with my video week or week before, and so hopefully it's going to work. If it doesn't, then I'll have to try something else. So we're going to make what I just called a 2-envelope card today, which is where basically your card is in an envelope on the front. So I used this one with the Encircled in Nature. And then I did this one. See, the card is in an envelope on the front of the card. So, and this one just artfully layered. You can make these as intricate or as simple as you want, but I'll give you what I did. And the reason I did this, I had bought a set of these envelope and card sets. And this is our regular A2 size. And see, these are smaller, and I didn't realize that. And these, to me, are kind of small to go through the mail. Now, they will, but I think this size is better for me. So I thought, what am I going to do with these? So I've got my card base, which is just 1/4 of a piece of cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I've got this little envelope, which is 3 5/8 by 5 1/8. Now, you can use any size envelope that you have. That just happens to be the one I have, and that's going to sit right here on front of the card. And then I'm going to put a piece of DSP on top of that, and that's 3 1/2 by 4 7/8. And then the little card that goes on the inside is 7 by 4 7/8, and it's folded in half. Excuse me. And then I have a mat that goes on that for 3 1/4 by 4 5/8. I've got the white cardstock that goes on that, which is 3 by 4 3/8. And then this is just a little piece for the inside. Now, all these different mats and everything, you don't have to use it. You have your envelope. Let's just start making it, and then you can kind of see where you could go with this. So I'm going to seal this envelope. And again, it does, as long as it's smaller than this piece of cardstock, you're going to be fine. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut off one end so that it will be open, and I can slide my card down into it. And I'm just cutting off a little bit. So now I have a pocket. Now, you could also use this, like, let's say, for a gift card or a tag or something else that you wanted to include on there. All right, and then I'm going to put my DSP, and this is some from the newer Peaceful Garden that's got the doves and everything. This is such pretty paper, but they had some of this crumb cake pattern in there that I thought would be really nice on this card. So you would use whatever colors that you have. So, if you have the DSP, like my first card that had the pinks in it, then make the card pinks, or the blue and kind of mustardy color. All right, so remember, that's the open end. And then I'm going to take a hole punch, a circle. You can use it probably any shape, and just cut a little divot out of this so that now, I can stick my thing down in there. Now, I probably would have used a smaller hole punch, but my 1 inch and my 1 1/4 inch are still in storage somewhere. So I had the 1 3/4 here, and that works just fine. So it doesn't matter really what size you use. And then I'm just going to adhere this to the front of my base. And I'm just kind of evening it up a little bit. All right, so there's that. Your pocket's made where you're going to stick your card. So I've got my cardstock here. I'll put my mat on top of that. And it's funny, my glass mat is also still in storage, but this placemat I think is working really well because it's kind of cushy and it gives me that cushion to stamp with my photopolymer stamps. So, all right. So now all I have to do is stamp. And I thought just because I've got it out here, I'm going to use this Impressions of Bloom. I will probably stamp a flower or two. Maybe this one. And I'm using the cloud cover, which is one of the new in colors that we had this year. And if I want to use the same color for the two stamps, I stamp off the first time and then stamp here the second time. You can hardly see it on this one. So I'll stamp off lightly this time and see if I can. That's a little bit darker. Still kind of hard to see, but that's all right. Lightly there. Okay, and then I've got the one that has the detail on it that I'm going to stamp full strength. Let me see how that's going to go on here. I think it's going to go like that. Okay. And since my first one's really hard to see, it came out really light. There we go. Okay. And then I'll stamp the centers with the crumb cake. And again, you would be using whatever colors that you have. I really like the brown and blue together, no matter whether it's this cloud cover and crumb cake or even whether it was a darker blue. Or maybe I'll leave that out and do my words in that one. And I think I'll just say thanks on this one. I can always use a thank you card. Oops. Thanks. All right. And that's going to go on the front here. See how this really comes together very easily. But I just think, sometimes it's fun when somebody gets a card this is not a fun fold, but it's not just a card and open. You've got the little pouch that it comes out of. Okay, and then normally, I love my sequins or my little, these are flat pearls, and I've got them in the cloud cover, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Again, usually using 3. We want to stick with odd numbers. There we go. That just adds something so that I don't feel like I've got so much white space there. Okay, and then whatever I want to put on the inside, thanks for being there. I'll stick that one there. Now you can make these as embellished or as plain as you want. There's no right or wrong. That's not quite straight, but remember, we've always got 2-sided paper. There you go, that's better. Looks like I got a little bit of ink on it, but I will erase that later. Okay. So here we go. Whoops. I think it's a great choice if you've got some of the smaller envelopes because that size card, to me, that would be one that I would have on a package if I was going to give it to someone, but not necessarily one that I would send through the mail. You can, I don't think I would. Oops. This one, of course, is giving me trouble. What did I do? Oh, I see. That got folded down. The other ones gave me no trouble whatsoever. So of course the one that I'm going to do on camera, see how that piece is kind of sticking out. There we go. I wonder if I got it on that other piece too. I wonder why this one was giving me trouble. Anyway, it'll go in there. So then if you want to do something on the front here, you can. I had some blue pieces from my lavender that I thought might even look pretty on the front of this. Here we go. A couple little pieces that didn't get popped out there. One there. I always save the extra pieces. And today I was just looking for something blue and I thought, oh wow, that'll work well. So let me just put a little bit of glue on these. The liquid glue, of course, will work best for those. And I hope maybe everybody's making something for World Card Making Day. I know Stampin' Up! Has got a nice presentation later. Let's try one more time to get that in there. Because obviously this is the card that there we go. See how easy that went in? I don't know what was wrong with it the first time. All right, so we've got this one that we just made. That's a thank you. We've got this one. So what I was trying to do is just use the colors here that I could find in my designer paper. We've got that one, and we've got the pink one. See? So we're just putting kind of a card in an envelope, and then this whole thing will fit in one of our regular A2 envelopes. Okay? So I hope you might try one. They are pretty easy, and I think they're a lot of fun. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.